What's going on, guys? Happy New Year. Today is January 1st, 2023, bringing in the new year strong. We're watching the economical calendar, preparing ourselves for the upcoming week of the stock market. Monday, New Year, no basically information scheduled for Monday. Tuesday, basically, we have PMI information coming out. Wednesday, we have ISM, job openings, FOMC minutes. This is going to be a major one at 2 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. Make sure you guys pay attention to that. Thursday, we have ADP, jobless reports. Also, we have some trade deficit. Friday, non-farm payroll, unemployment, ISM. So make sure you guys watch this out. This is on Market Watch. Make sure you guys are prepared for the upcoming week. First one we're going to start off with a SPY breakdown. We're actually going to start off on the 3-year 1 week chart over here. This way we can see what's going on overall with the SPY. You can see we had a crazy year. We went from 479 at the high, and then we started to make a low of basically 349, but we'll get there. Looking at the overall charts, you can see we have been basically making lower highs these basically throughout the 2022 session. We haven't really broken that 3-year SMA over here. If we do, we can basically see some more possible downside, at least on this chart, right? MACD hasn't really fully crossed over yet, and we are still holding above that SMA. Let's drop down over towards the 1 year, 1 day. This way we can see what's happening in present time, right? So present time, you can see, hey, we went from that 479, but where are we right now? We're sitting at 382, right below the 1 year EMA over here. That's why I have this solid orange line. That is going to be a major pivot point for the overall SPY. So watch for the break of 382 or 384 to the upside, and then we could kind of fill in this pocket and run up towards that 394 zone on the SMA. You could kind of see that we basically drop. Typically, when I see stocks drop and they go sideways, that is a sign that they are finding support and there's an equal amount of buyers and sellers. Who's going to win that war? Is it going to be one to the upside where you wait for that 394 break? I mean, that 384 or 385 break, and then we can start basically pushing up towards that 394 zone up here? Or is it going to be to the downside where you break this key support level at 375, where you can see we wicked off of it? There's a reason we didn't continue to go lower because that level was an area of support. Buyers start to kick in. And you can see in the past how this area has been kind of respected before. So that 394 on that 374 zone needs to be broken before we could basically go down towards 370. So watch for the break below 374, down towards 370 to the downside, and watch for the break above 384. And then we could start basically pushing up towards 394 to the overall upside. Looking at the overall charts, MACD is crossed down on the 1 year. RSI has potential for both. Jumping over towards the 180 day. 180 day is actually crossed up. That is a bullish sign, right? So we're going into divergence. So I wouldn't really be shocked by just seeing what we've seen just so far. We basically dropped, went sideways, found some type of support. We could possibly push up to the upside, especially if the 180 days crossed up right now and we're basically struggling to make new lows, right? Going into the 20-day, you can see the 20-day MACD is crossed up. We're above the trade line, above the EMA. We could possibly see a green warning. So we got to see what's going to overall happen to see what's going to happen on our first day on trading day back. But we could possibly push up higher and head towards those 395s. Let's see what happens. Overall, you never want to have a bias, and that's the main thing I want to teach you guys. And that's why I always give you guys both opportunities for long positions and short positions, because you never know what could happen until the charts present themselves at that moment, right? So you always want to prepare yourself for that possible upside or your possible downside. Now, on the possible downside, if you're looking for a day trade tomorrow, you see, we've been basically trapped between this range that we spoke about, right? That 384, and we've been trapped between that 374 over here. So watch for the break of 381, which is going to be the break of the 180-day 4-hour EMA. That's going to be a major trend change to the downside. So watch for that 381 break, right? And then we can start basically pulling back down towards that 376. May not be like the cleanest of trades. Make sure you use a stop on all your trades, right? So make sure you get a nice crossover at least on the 180-day or the break of those EMAs. And even that 20-day crossing down and breaking the SMA to the downside is a key sign. Like I said before, we're in the middle of a crossroad. This orange line represents that 1-year EMA. So if we struggle to break that 1-year EMA, let's just jump back over towards that 1-year EMA. You can see we've been basically below it since December 13th, right? December 13th, you can see the date and time over here. December 13th, we've been basically below that 1-year EMA. It's perfectly natural to see us reject it one more time. So make sure you guys stay clear of that 383 zone, because if we do reject it and you're trying to go for a long position, you could get burned in the long run, right? So make sure you watch for that clear breakout from that zone before you go for your long positions, because we have basically struggled to get back above this EMA since the 13th, right? So watch out for that. And then we could possibly look for those possible short positions that we spoke about earlier. So keep an open eye for both situations. And when in doubt, set an alert, right? Say if you're looking at other stocks, set your alert. You right click, scroll down, create alert. Now I know, hey, if SPY's getting froggy and she wants to break above that EMA, we can start looking at it, right? So next stop we're going to talk about big Tesla, Elon Musk giving all his love to his newborn, right? His new child, Twitter. So looking at what's overall going to happen with this stock in the long run, we've seen that this stock has basically taken a nice drop this year, right? We went from 402 to 108, right? If these stock splits weren't like, if Tesla never had a stock split, this drop would be freaking crazy. We see that Tesla went from 400 to 108 on the large scale. That's basically like Tesla dropping maybe like $200, right? But overall, looking at the charts over here, RSI is extremely oversold, right? Always want to check your RSI. The relative strength index gives you that kind of scale, right? Has Tesla really reached the bottom? Is it more in favor for a possible long upward trend? Typically, you want to look at your RSI when you want to gauge, hey, how much more potential, or is this a possible good entry for a stock, right? Typically, when that RSI is oversold, you could look for your longs, overbought, look for your short positions. But you guys should know this already, right? I have some videos on it as well. So watch to see what's going to overall happen with Tesla. We made a bottom at 108 over here. So we hit a low of $108.24. And then we basically were sitting at 123 on the 1-year. Again, we are below that 1-year trade line over here. We've been kind of below it since the 5th of December, and we've been trading below that. Is tomorrow going to be the day that we finally enter a bullish uptrend, even though Tesla has bounced from 108 to that 124 zone or 130 zone? I don't consider it a bullish uptrend until we start to trend above that 1-year, right? If we're trending above that 1-year, the 1-year's crossed up, then it's a bullish uptrend. But we got to wait and see tomorrow, see if we reject that zone, kind of like what SPY's doing, right? Right below that EMA. We haven't been above it since the 5th. If we break above it tomorrow and we actually close above it, we have a candle open and close. Right? Again, we're on the 1-year, 1 day. So each one of these candles takes 1 day to form. So if we have 1 day bullish above that EMA, that could possibly lead to a possible uptrend going up, right? So definitely want to watch to see how that's going to fold out. Let's jump over towards the 180-day over here. 180-day, we need to break below that 121, and we could pull down towards that 104.22 over there, right? So watch out for that. MACD is crossed up, right? So we could see some possible bullish action going into our first trading day of the new year. 20-day is actually neutral with what's going on over here with the trigger line. So we want to be very careful, especially since we're below that SMA. SMA could basically slap the stock down. right? You can see basically slapped it down before, slapped it down before. So I want to see what's going to will happen. So if you do go for a long position on Tesla, it's not going to be like a favorable long position because you have a wall right ahead of you, right? You have that wall at 129. Yes, you could day trade it, scalp it, but just make sure you are following it with a tight stop loss because you could get in from 124.40 or 124.50, and then you can hold it towards that 129 on options. That's going to be a nice, beautiful trade. Make sure you guys use a stop loss because this area has a double whammy on resistance on the upside, right? To the downside, right? MACD crosses down. We are very overbought over here. We could possibly pull down, right? Watch to see if we hold below that 121, below that 120-day EMA, and then we could basically start pulling down towards 108 on Tesla. So these are going to be my two main watches going into the new year. I wrote on Instagram basically what is the top 4 stocks you guys are watching. I know I didn't cover all the stocks. There are a million stocks in the market, give or take, right? So make sure you guys write on that post. Let me know what stocks you guys are watching, and I'll cherry pick them and see, hey, and I'll throw them up on the next video. So make sure you guys stay diligent, use a stop loss, write down your goals for 2023. That is the number one thing, right? Especially if you want to take stock trading serious. This is not a half-stepping kind of thing, right? You got to take this fully serious, especially if you're trying to break out the quote unquote matrix of the everyday world. This is a beautiful, beautiful thing where you're able to make money from home, and you got to think about that blessing every time, right? That you're be able to make X amount of dollars in seconds. And if you were to go to work, it'll take you X amount of time, 8 hours a week, sometimes a month to even make the figures that or dollar figures that we're making. So make sure you guys take that into account and journal your trades. Always want to journal your trades, log in your entries, your exits. Like I said, TD, everything's timed. I have videos on basically how to trade the pass on demand. You guys could use that free knowledge to basically move yourself forward, right? You're only going to move yourself forward if you basically hold yourself accountable for what you're doing. If you don't hold yourself accountable and try to push forward every day, you're not going to see any progress in this industry or in any industry, right? Be defensive this year, right? Be defensive. Just like when you're learning how to drive, a lot of people want to jump on the gas. Same situation in the stock market. A lot of times people just want to trade, right? You just want to get into the trade. But the most important thing about driving is learning how to use your brakes, right? You jump on the gas, all of a sudden you have obstacles. You got to press your brake to bend the corner. You got to press your brake basically because someone shortstopped you in front of you, right? Same thing in the stock market. Learn how to be defensive and press your brake. Getting in is easy, right? Get a MACD crossover, know where your RSI is. Now, protecting your gains and holding your gains and taking them into 2024 is the next variable, right? Use a stop loss. Always use a stop loss on no matter what trade. Never second guess yourself on using a stop loss. It's better to get out early than hold in an uncomfortable position and let your account get wiped out. Make sure you guys are very diligent. Use a stop loss on every trade. You can't stop it with your eyes, right? That's one thing I read in a book a long time ago. Always use a stop loss. You cannot stop a stock with your eyes. You could basically, any news could come out and affect the overall stock. That's going to be it. I talked your heads enough. Hopefully, I gave you some 2023 motivation. Comment below what stock you guys are watching and keep moving forward all 2023. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.